Hey there everyone and welcome back to the Reactjs training. So welcome to another exciting project that we'll be doing that is going to be Firebase sign up, login and logout. Pretty important feature that we skipped in the last project, but there was a reason we skipped that because we wanted to just get started with a little bit easy one. Now again, this one is also easy. You'll feel just like a breeze there as well. So I have created a project in here and the project name is Firebase login. If I do a quick ls, you can see there we go, Firebase login. So this is the fresh project template that we'll be working on. And so far you have been loving that this create react app is so much good that it saves us a lot of time. So just give it a thumbs up if you think that yes, this is quite good. So now let's go back and talk about the Firebase login. So first of all, I'll go inside the Firebase login and do a quick ls. And we have got a few stuff in here, package.json. Now, since we'll be working with the Firebase, it's a good idea to install the Firebase as a package. So I'll just say simply npm install -- save to save that in the package.json file, and we'll be calling it Firebase. Now, just like the last project, we don't need UUID because I'll be telling you a new method to generate the UUID, and Firebase automatically does this for us. In the last project, we didn't mess around with the automatically generated UID because we were not authenticating the users. We were just directly messing around with the database. So that is why. Okay, so let's just hit that and let it be installed for a few seconds. In the meantime, let's go into the Firebase console. Now, obviously, you might be familiar with the Firebase by now with the last project. And obviously, if you are not, just go ahead, create an account and go to console.firebase.google.com. And I would highly recommend all of you to create a new project for this. Now, I will be working with the last project that will be uSurvey, and in case you want to do along with me, just open this uSurvey that we have created in the last. But again, I would highly recommend all of you to create a new fresh project. So let me just go into uSurvey, and there is no charges to create as many projects as you wish, but I just like to work with that. I already have many projects going on there. So the first thing that we'll be doing, in case you're following me, is go into the database and go into the rules and just make sure you do exactly as I typed in here. Now, in the last video, we actually did kind of equal there, and this one is also equal, and that is completely a wrong way of doing the things because we are saying, hey, only allow those guys who are not authenticated. Not a good idea to do so. But now we'll be fixing the stuff and we'll be saying only allow those people to read and write from the database which are authenticated. So auth should not be null. Okay, and we're gonna just publish these rules. Okay, so this looks pretty good and awesome so far. Now let's go into the data tab, and looks like we do have some things in here known as the users. That is something from I was doing some messing around with the stuff, so I'll just delete that. And we are having uSurvey from our last app, and we have some got results from the Ronaldo, and he's saying he likes technology in job, and yes. So not getting much around, just keep it there, or you can delete it that as well. Now next thing, go into the authentication, and what you need to do is click on the sign in method, and yours might be saying something like this, disable this and save that. So yours might be saying something like this. So what you need to do in this project, we'll be learning how we can authenticate a user using email and password, and almost just similar to this is like Google and Facebook, Twitter, GitHub. Right now, let's just get around with simply email and password. Just make sure you click on this guy and click on the save. Okay, and there we go. Now, right now we don't have any users in here, and you can see, but just notice the fields here that there is an email, provider, created, signed in, and user UID. So this is the guy which we'll be using. And what would be the scenario? Let me clear that up as well. We'll be having 3 buttons: login, sign up, and log out. As soon as the users sign up, we'll be making an entry into the database with his email, and he will be allowed to log in as well, and he'll be allowed to log out as well. And in the authentication tab, we'll be seeing his email and his UID. Okay, sounds good. Yep, it looks good to me. Now let's go there, do a quick ls. And yes, things are good in here, and I'll just say atom and dot there. This is, by the way, just a quick way of opening up atom in the same directory where your command line is. But in case you are not aware of this, go to the file and click on the open and open up the things that you are comfortable with. I'll also open a file that says css for login-firebase.txt. Let's open that up. And as you can see, just like the previous things, I have just given you a .txt file with a lot of CSS already written. So I'll just copy this, go to the source, app.css, I'll open that up, and at the bottom, I would like to paste all of that, making no difference at all. Okay, so this is the first thing that we would like to do. And in this project, we'll be just finishing up our first thing, that is just setting up the things. And obviously by so far you might have guessed that what we'll be doing, we'll be removing this paragraph and we'll be creating a separate component there, and we'll be calling in the component in here. Okay, that makes sense. Writing more modular code is a good idea. Okay, so right click on this, create a new file, and what should we call our file? Let's call this as authn, and I think authn is just good. Authentication would be too long, so authn is good in here, and I'll hit enter. And just write quickly your favorite lines in here, that is React, component, and that will be coming up from React. Okay, it looks good. And we'll be doing our com. Already we have set it up all the things to just create a snippet for that, and we'll be calling it as authn. And at the bottom, we need to export the defaults in here. So export defaults. Default, and that will be authn. Okay, looks good so far. Save that. Now let's go into our app.js, save that as well. And we forgot to run our application. That is bad. We should be saying npm start, and that should load our application. Now I'm expecting no errors so far. This is very early in the project, but errors are not the end of the day. They're meant to there to teach you something, always. Okay, loading a few things, taking a little bit of the time. Okay, there we go, and we can see some nice CSS already taking in effect. That is, we have already done. So I'll be just shrinking it a little bit and refreshing it. Looks good. And now let's go back. And the next thing that we'll be doing is importing our authn. So we'll be saying import authn, and that will be importing from the same directory there. That is going to be / for the same. So authn, and there we go. Now we can import our component, and there we go. And looks good. We haven't said anything from our authn. We can say I am something like I am from authn component. Looks good in that way. Oops, not a semicolon. And there we go, we can see I am from authn component there. So far we have been doing pretty good modular code so far. That is actually good. Now since we do have some time, let's configure our Firebase as well. That would be the step number 1. So just above your class, first we need to import our Firebase. How we're going to do that? I hope everybody will be able to do it before me. So pause the video there and do it before me. Okay, so I hope everybody did that by now. In case not, still you can pause that. So I'll be doing it by simply Firebase is gonna require Firebase. Okay, that is good. Now the next thing would be save this guy, and the next thing would be to go into the Firebase console, click on this overview, and we want to add our app to the Firebase. So just copy all of this. We know this drill. We have done it quite a number of times in the last video. And I'll just copy this and we'll go back in here, paste that. So now our Firebase app is being configured properly. And make sure you copy this. Don't copy my emails and app API keys because it's not going to work for you. So we have initialized our app. Okay, looks good so far. And we don't need this guy right now. We can just move to the React app so far. And there we go. So I'll go into the app.js back, and that looks pretty damn good. And I guess we are getting some error in here. So let me just quickly do an inspect and hit the console so that we can see if we are hitting some error. So it says find module. Okay, so obviously it's making a sum of the problems there because we have actually done some things in here. But again, we can just ignore these errors for now. Obviously, we'll resolving them. Okay. And now it's a good time to write some of the input elements there. And we do have some still time there, so we can just write at least a couple of them. So I'll go inside the div. We don't need this guy right now. And right now what I can do is I can just comment this out because I think this is making a problem. Save that. And still it's making a problem. Okay, did I had a typo there? And I think everything looks good, but why is it making a complaint there? Let me just have a quick look. Looks good in here, looks good. Let's just first resolve this. This is bugging me quite a lot. So let's go to the console and see that we have got an error. Cannot find module of undefined. So let's just see if the Firebase is installed or not. Firebase is there. And why is it having a problem with Firebase? If I just comment that out for a second, it should be happy now. Yep, it's happy. So why is it saying I'm not gonna be allowing Firebase to load up the things? I have no idea why is it saying, but okay, so that is why it's saying. I figured that out very quickly actually. I forgot to put a colons there, and that is why it's complaining. Happens to even the best of us. Okay, save that, and now things are happy. Okay, now let's quickly write our very first component in here. Some of you might be thinking that why he's not editing the videos when he had made the mistakes. Nope, I won't be doing that. I want you to learn the real life experience. In your coding experience, you will be facing these problems. You need to learn how to solve them, okay? So this is gonna be the input of type email there. Okay. And it's gonna have a placeholder, and that's gonna say enter your email, and that's gonna be a self-closing tag with followed by a BR, and that will be self-closing. Save that. How does it look? Looks super awesome, but we need a couple of more things in here with that. Now, one thing that I'll be giving it is gonna be the ID of email. Now, I haven't defined any ID in the CSS, but it's actually rather easier for me to just get some things in here. Like for example, if I want to collect this thing, I can simply say get element by ID. So just for the reference, I'm keeping it here. Now, also I'll be passing one more thing that we have used in the previous project there. That is gonna be ref equals email, so that I can capture whatever is being typed in this email. I'll hit Command Shift D to duplicate that, and that is gonna have an ID of, let's just say, pass, and the reference type is gonna be password, so that I can pick it up. Type is gonna be, of course, password, and the placeholder will be enter your password. Okay, looks good. And there we go. Looks, enter your email, enter your password. We don't have any buttons in here, but I think we should do the buttons in the next video.